What's up, YouTube? DJ Kryptonite here. I got one question about a boxer. I know he's recovering from his surgery with his retina. I think he had a detached retina or something to that effect. But I hadn't heard anything from him as of late. Errol Spence Jr. hadn't been in the news. Well, at least I think he makes comments here and there on social media, but I really hadn't seen him doing too much. I wonder how serious that condition was, and if it jeopardizes his career. I was a bit concerned about that. I don't know. I just hadn't seen him, flashing himself in the public eye as of late. So I just hadn't heard the name. Any plans to get back in the ring? I don't know how long the recovery is for this type of surgery, but I'm happy they caught it early. But I was just concerned. I hadn't heard him in the news or seen him doing anything. Normally they have the training montages type thing where they show him in the ring, shadow boxing or on the mitts with his trainer. So I don't know. I was just thinking to myself, I just don't know exactly how serious his condition is at this point. But he's a soldier, so I'm sure he's gonna try to make a comeback, good, bad, or ugly. But when eye injuries take place, that's always detrimental to the boxer. I think Terry Norris may have had an eye injury. Sugar Ray Leonard may have had an eye injury. I don't know Terry Norris. I think he just had, he had clear concussions because his speech became slurred over time. But there was a number of fighters who had eye issues, and it subsequently jeopardized their career. So I'm just hopeful that that this is fairly minor, easy repair on his eye, and he can kind of proceed with his career. But I just don't know. It's just I'm a little uneasy about it at this point. Hopefully he comes through it pretty easily. I know he posted something about the surgery went well, but would he be susceptible to further injury in this combat sport? And I would assume that potentially, yeah, I would think so. It couldn't do his eye any good getting punched, in the eye. So I don't know. I was a bit concerned about that. I hadn't heard his name in the news because of course it was bounced around with Canelo, and then it was bounced around with Sean Porter, and then that kind of backed away. And then Pacquiao was lined up to fight him, and then he had to pull out of that because of the eye injury. So I don't know. And now Pacquiao is since retired. So, who's next for Errol Spence if and when he does come back? So I'm sure some names out there. Hopefully Crawford is on the books, and hopefully Crawford fight gets made, because they've shown that they can actually cross promote this stuff with Mayweather, Pacquiao, now Tyson, Fury, Wilder, Sean Porter, Crawford. So they have history now with cross promotional and cross networks and all of that sort of thing. So hopefully when he comes back, they can kind of render a deal or agree to a deal with Crawford and Spence. But that's under the assumption that he gets past Porter, because again, I'm not convinced he's going to get past Porter. Like I said in a previous video, Porter really hadn't beaten a lot of the big, the big name welterweights, put on a good show, but he hadn't really gotten by enough of them to be considered in the top tier. He's in the top tier because of talent, but he ain't in the top tier because of wins. So that's the thing. So I'm a little concerned about that. So if Porter gets past Crawford, then I can see maybe, I don't know, maybe, well, I don't know. What I would think is, if Errol Spence was to come back, I would think Ugas would be next in line for Spence. I would think he would be coming after Ugas heavy. So I think he would come after Ugas to try to get at least kind of unify those belts. That would be my thought. And if Crawford beats Porter, then maybe after Spence unifies those belts, then maybe we can have a Crawford-Spence fight early 2020. No, probably late 2022, really summer or fall of 22. That will probably be the natural progression. But yeah, I was just thinking about the I guess the status or the state of the welterweight division with Pacquiao, you know, throwing his gloves up, hanging his gloves up, and Spence is kind of, he's the king of the welterweight, so he's kind of out of commission at this point. So yeah, it's kind of putting everything in flux at this point, because I really hadn't heard any timelines for Spence's return. Anyway, this is DJ Kryptonite. Like I said, I was just pondering a thought. Thumbs up if you like the video. Any comments, any feedback will be lovely. Anyway, have a great weekend. And you know it's fight day, so make sure you get that fight. Wilder Fury, big fight tonight. So, to deuces.